Hey, welcome guys, and I suddenly got a lot of requests on how I done my tower defense placement, stuff, and I thought I'd do a tutorial on it because it was really simple and, you know, can help people out. And you see, I just got hover and a few placements, and if you notice, I can't build anymore after it's done, which is achieved by one particular script. See, the box has no clone, no script, no nothing. Actually, the whole project only has one script, and it's this one right here, which I'll be talking about in a minute. And the canvas is just a simple text, nothing big. Directional light, pretty standard stuff. And I'm using UD5 currently right now because it's got a lot of really cool things. So let's look at this script. Pretty simple. I got a hover mat material, which is just, regular material. Then a placement plane layer mask. I use this layer for array casting, which we'll get into in a minute. And the original material, which it gets this material. I use a get component feature to get this material. And the last hit object. I use this so that it can cast the material, and if I wanted to use it for placing like turns and things like that, because I'll use this variable to cast it to that position and rotation. This the structure selection, all structures, which is an array, and then my index, which, if you cast this many objects, you need an index of some sort. That way you can sort what actual structure you're on. This is just a static variable. I chose static, that way I don't have to do extra get components every time something dies, which tower defense, you get a lot of that. So, and then the cost, I use this cost as an array because as for this is an array. So I'm just using both of them as an array for buildings. Now, the cost of the building. This money one, I don't think I actually need this one. But, it's I could probably just get rid of it. Now it's the building cost. Okay. Now this I use to cast my setting of buttons in my project. I use buttons, so I have to swap out building cost depending on which one I have selected. This is just the Unity text object, which is really ridiculous. You have to do this right here. I'm actually thinking about taking this whole script and going C# just because it makes more sense. But it's Java right now. The starting, just I gotta start with some type of index and some type of building cost, which this is the array factor of the building cost right here. So you have to go cost, then the array of it, which one you want, which an array starts at 0. This code is used for making sure your screen doesn't go dark on the Android, which you don't need it if you're going to use it on a PC, but I had to find it and I didn't know about it, so it kept driving me nuts because it kept going dark on me. This is a check for if I have enough cache for the building cost. Cache is greater than the building cost. Then it casts a function, which is the build function, which this build function is right here. Build, and here's the function, and this is just the instantiation part of it. Input get key down, which only does it once every time you put it down. And I'm done a debug, which is just to make sure that I know I built something, which is this. Just this. I want to know, make sure the feature got called. And this is how I make sure that the raycast hits this object, which is the tag for open. Okay, each placement plane, little thing, placement is with the tag open, close, and that's how I keep from building stuff on top of other stuff. And this is just my indexing of what structure, all structure, structure index, last hit object, the transform of it, the position, quaternion, identity. And this will, when the ray hits it, it will put it in the transformed position from this feature right here. Raycast, hit, and then bar ray, camera, main, which is your main camera, screen to point of the ray, input mouse position, which is just the mouse position. This little cluster. That's it. Really simple. And it's dealing with the physics. So you gotta have a ray, physics, ray, hit, 100, and then the layer mask. I do this so that it won't change the material of anything else that I have. Like you have cool pictures, maybe some dirt around here, you know, buildings. You don't want it to change the material as you're hovering over it. So it's just layer masking. If last hit object, which is that variable up top. And I get the component, render material to original, else it goes to original, and then null. Really simple stuff. It just, here's the ray, I get off of it, clears it, get onto it, it puts another material on it, which in this project I have absolutely none, which I'll be sharing the whole project. That's why when I go over top of it, it goes purple, because I have no material, so the default purple. No big deal, right? You could always put some material in there. I left it in, and it's just put on the main camera. And so here's the materials, the layer masking, which you can put anything. I mean, it's no big deal. Just as long as the other stuff isn't in the mask for placement. That way you can separate the two. And it just done an instant of the default material because I don't have any. And this is the last hit object, and if you go over it, it will change it. And this is my structure, this is the index. So if I change this to 1, which I go off this and change it to, let's say, from 0 to 1, it will do pretzels, which the reason why it goes in the center like that is because 0 point of it is in the middle, which is just ridiculous. I've got everything, but when you model it, make sure the 0 point's at the very, very bottom, and it will show up just perfect. Okay, and this is the cost array, which is just the cost of it, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not really. Here's the cache, minus equals. That takes the cache away when you use it. See, and this sets the index for build cost to cost. Every time this has been done, it just goes structure index equals 0. It executes this, which is just the build cost that we set up here. You can set 100, and it just takes it away. You can put 150, whatever. Really quite easy. And we close the function. And then another if statement for the next one, because who knows how many items you have. There's probably a better way of doing this, but that's pretty much it. And that's all I wanted to share. I'll have a link for download to my website so you can experiment, but you know, it's pretty short script, and I think somebody out there will appreciate me doing this and sharing it with you guys. So stay cool, and thanks a lot.